up, guys? I'm about to drop the best breakdown of Jack Della Maddalena versus Carlos Prates on the internet. Like the video, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, do all that stuff. And if you guys want to see my other breakdowns, my most confident picks, my full card predictions I drop after weigh-ins, my reactions, that's up on the live tab. Okay, we've got Jack Della Maddalena coming off of that Islam Makhachev smother fest, but a very entertaining striker, a scientist when it comes to the boxing and the stance switching and the level changing and the little slips in the head movement and all the beautiful combinations that he throws. And he's up against Carlos Prates, the gunslinging, cigarette smoking powerhouse who could slam a knee into your stomach, kick that leg hard to set you up for the straight two, a dangerous southpaw. These guys are going to clash in Australia Saturday night, and I'm excited about it. I just did a 4-hour tape study where I watched back key fights that I thought were very relevant, right? And the first one, of course, I had to watch was Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev because it was Jack's last performance. And now I'm clinically depressed. That was, that was tough. It's late here in Huntington Beach, California, but dude, that was hard to rewatch. I didn't remember how many leg kicks that Islam Makhachev was slamming in there. Islam Makhachev was taking that lead leg of Jack Della Maddalena, and JDM was, trying to switch stances on him a little bit. But you can see that Jack is more comfortable orthodox. Now, in this matchup against Carlos Prates, that matters a lot because Carlos Prates is an excellent leg kicker, but he's southpaw. So you got southpaw Carlos Prates versus a true switch hitter, but most comfortable orthodox Jack Della Maddalena. That takes away that lead leg. That's a big deal, right? Because that's going to stop a real momentum builder for Carlos Prates. Over 5 rounds, somebody whipping leg kicks as hard as Carlos Prates throws everything. That's an issue, right? And we could take at least the single most dangerous one that Carlos Prates has off the table. He'll slam it in there to other southpaws, southpaw orthodox. You see Carlos has to start going up to the body with that thing. That makes a big difference. Against Islam Makhachev, the style is so much different that I can't really get a ton right out of that fight. But I mean, it's fair to say he has something to bounce back from. Like the thing you could see in that one, and you hear it in his interviews. I listened to Jack Della Maddalena talk to MMA Junkie. I listened to both of their, the pre-fight press conference. Jack admitted that for days he was fucked up mentally, after the Islam Makhachev performance. And you keep hearing him say, like, what do you want with this win? What do you want? He's like, I want a rematch. Do we want that as fans? Can we wait a little longer? He actually said, I don't care if it's now. I don't care if it's later. Yeah, man. There's so many fun fights for Jack Della Maddalena. He actually said he didn't know if he was going to get Michael Morales or if he was going to get Carlos Prates, but he was thinking one of the two. That's a fun one with Michael Morales. There are a lot of fun fights for Jack Della Maddalena. Unfortunately, Islam Makhachev is not one of them. Belal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena. Now, Belal Muhammad tried to bang a right hand down the pipe to keep Jack off of him in that first round. And if you look at the way Jack rolled with it, I was instantly seeing Carlos Prates throwing his straight left hand, right? Now, Jack would have to roll the other way. But I like the fact that Jack Della Maddalena can roll with punches. You don't see a ton of this in MMA. You see Conor McGregor roll with shots well. Anderson Silva was, among one of the first elite strikers who was showing that consistently in mixed martial arts. And Jack Della Maddalena does it well. So when you're a little late for a slip or a roll or a level change, when that thing's about to hit you, Jack does know how to turn his chin and roll with punches. That could be a game changer in this fight with Carlos Prates. Carlos Prates has this great straight left hand. He's got this long reach. Now, people are going to tell you out there, I've heard this on the internet, that Jack Della Maddalena has never fought somebody as long as Carlos Prates. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Look at the black dudes he's fought. He's fought Randy Brown, who he smoked, by the way. Rear naked strangle in the first round, but he fucked his shit up on the feet. Randy Brown is 6'3" and has a 78-inch reach. Okay? What about Kevin Holland? Kevin Holland, I know it was a split decision, but we're going to get into it. That was not a split decision. Kevin shouldn't have been a split decision. Kevin Holland is 6'3" with a 81-inch reach. Let's compare that to the powerful Carlos Prates. 6'1", 78-inch reach. Jack's seen this shit before, okay? So don't fool yourself into thinking that this is the first time Jack Della Maddalena is looking across from a rangy striker, right? It's the first time he's looking across from Carlos Prates. He brings his own problems, one of them being his length, another one being how he can hold range on people really well, you know? And I saw Ian Garry disrupt that nicely. We'll get into it. But Carlos Prates, the reach, right? And even his long legs, not something Jack's never seen before. Stop it. All right, so versus Belal Muhammad, you know, you saw Jack box his face off, right? And that's Canelo Alvarez, judging by his coach Horatio, right? Belal Muhammad's coach says that those are Canelo Alvarez hands. So just another feather in the cap of the great Jack Della Maddalena. You know, these fights were a little different because he's up against wrestlers who are trying to take him down. A lot of the most impressive things he did in that one were those like down blocks where he would level change with him. He had Daniel Cormier getting all excited about, that's what we do in wrestling. We fight with the hands and the head with the level changes. DC was loving it, okay? And it wasn't even a wrestler. You're looking at Jack Della Maddalena, who's not a wrestler, he's a striker. So it's some beautiful stuff to watch. He did show stance switching. He did show body work, right? I think the body work will be key against Carlos Prates. Key against Carlos Prates. Take the legs too. He stands in that wide stance, which is great offensively, but as far as checking kicks is concerned, can be problematic, especially when he's planting, throwing big shit like he likes to throw. Carlos Prates is fast. He's dangerous, but I think that there were some signs that Jack Della Maddalena can work there. Kevin Holland, probably the best comparison to Carlos Prates. We're getting a little closer. Kevin Holland's got fast hands. He was really trying to throw a fast 1-2 in this one. I had Jack beating him all 3 rounds on the rewatch today. I know some of you hate that. I saw somebody in my comments trying to go in on me. You're a silly goose if you think Kevin Holland won that fight. You are a silly goose, okay? Kevin Holland was slapping him. Kevin Holland's throwing this slappy shit out there, right? Watch when Jack Della goes off. He's ripping that body. He's coming upstairs. He's throwing 5-6 punch combinations. Even when he kicks, it's harder. Everything Jack hits him with hurts. Jack clearly won the first round with that big combo. And then in the second round, he lands one of the best combos I've ever seen him throw. And that's a real statement for Jack Della, who's a combination puncher. Wicked, wicked combination he threw on Kevin Holland, right? What's the key to those moments he had against Kevin Holland? What was the key to him beating Kevin Holland? It was where the fight took place. Jack Della Maddalena does his best work when he backs you up to that fence. When you don't have the ability to move back, and Jack knows that, he starts going off. Another thing he showed in that Kevin Holland fight, Jack Della Maddalena conserves his energy strategically to attack you when you're, of course, out of position or tired, right? He waited till the end of the round to let his hands go, right? Watch that Kevin Holland fight. He's waiting. You hear DC calling it out on the commentary. Good on him. Jack is strategically waiting until he slows down a little bit. And you can hear the corner. You know, I think it was like the middle of the second round. They're like, look, he's tired now, Jack. Now you can go. He's tired now, Jack. Carlos Prates smokes cigarettes. You think Jack Della Maddalena is going to try to get him tired? I do. He's got 25 minutes. I do. DC, I just love how responsible Jack Della Maddalena is defensively. He's going to need it, okay? Because he's up against Carlos mother effing Prates. Carlos Prates, I watched the Ian Garry fight back. It wasn't as, cringeworthy as the Islam Makhachev just sort of coming down on him like a fog, Islam just parked on him. Ian Garry used movement, right? So Ian Garry fought him at a long range, used a lot of footwork, side to side movement. And Carlos Prates walking towards him. He tried to cut him off a little bit, to be fair, but there was a lot of cat and mouse, it always is when you fight Ian Garry. Round 3, though, Ian Garry was boxing his ass up. He's got to respond here. He's getting chewed up, says Laura Sanko on the commentary. She was responding to boxing combinations, including an uppercut, by the way, a choice shot of Jack Della Maddalena. Boom, on Carlos Prates. When you get Carlos Prates in these positions where, first of all, he's towards the fence, Ian Garry did some of his best work there, or when he's just purely on defense, he likes to reach his arms out, right? You see him do this to effect against a Charlie Radke. He started reaching his arms out to Charlie Radke. Charlie Radke wasn't sure what to do about it. Boom! Blast Charlie Radke in the stomach, right? With a knee. He could get on offense with that, of course, right? But defensively, when you start throwing shots at him, you get him to slip 1 or 2 and he starts reaching those arms out defensively. It's a massive opportunity for Jack Della Maddalena to go to work, right? Jack doesn't throw 1 or 2 punches. He's a combination puncher. He's going body, head, back to the body, back up to the head again. And so when Prates is just defensive, he's going to get fucked up in those moments. I wrote in my notes here, you get Carlos Prates a little tired, you get him on the back foot slipping and blocking, that's where Jack kills him. Okay, that was my takeaway from the moments that we saw Ian Garry actually let his hands go. My goodness, Ian Garry's a good striker. Prates versus Geoff Neal. Neal, with about 1:30 left in the first round, hit Carlos Prates with some nice punches. Prates sort of back towards the fence and reaching there. So that's probably the best example of what I'm talking about. Of course, you guys saw. I wrote, he can't afford to do that with Jack. So if you're in Carlos Prates' team, you got to tell him, bro, we're tired. We're on defense. It's hands up. It's parries, right? It's footwork. It's getting the fuck out of there. It's not this. It can't be this. Because Della Maddalena will put you away. Remember, guys, Carlos Prates is a knockout guy, right? 18 wins by knockout. That's 78% of his wins. Jack Della Maddalena has 12 wins by knockout. That's 67% of his wins. They're both finishers. Prates has more power, right? So he's going to get more credit for being a finisher, but they're both finishers. And then, of course, Carlos Prates versus Leon Edwards. I mean, a beautiful performance by Carlos Prates there. The knockout was fantastic at the very least. I would say the Geoff Neal performance was probably the most beautiful, actually, because he did get taken down by Leon Edwards. Bald Leon Edwards. He's only 36. I'm fucking around. I got to stop calling people bald. I think that the knockout was spectacular, but you did see a moment there where Leon did take him down. He was like 1 for 1 on his takedown attempts, and he took his back. That's the famous, he stood up, he's getting punched in the head, and he does like the face, Carlos Prates is wearing Leon Edwards as a backpack. So I think that, JDM wrestling him is unlikely, but wouldn't be crazy. Jack just put in 2 back-to-back camps, wrestling his ass off. He's got Craig Jones out there, okay? His jiu-jitsu is getting sharp, and his wrestling's getting sharp. Didn't look like it against Islam Makhachev, but it is Islam Makhachev. Looked like it against Belal, right? Even against Gilbert Burns, who was a little bit closer to prime than the Mike Malott Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns had trouble grappling with him, and when he did, to get the finish, JDM ran up the fence to get him off of him, and then boom, catches him with a knee coming in. JDM's got knees too. Not quite Carlos Prates' knees. JDM's knee was on a shooting opponent. Carlos Prates will slam him in there just while you're standing up, Muay Thai style. But you could see that Jack Della is a better grappler than Carlos Prates. I think that's quite clear. Like Leon Edwards is out wrestling you offensively. I could imagine a world where Jack wrestles, right? And that makes a lot of sense, guys. Because if you wrestle Carlos Prates, even if you don't get much with it, you get one thing. You get him to take a deep breath. You get Carlos Prates tired. And when he's tired, he's not as dangerous. Now, we got to give him credit because in that Ian Garry fight, he hurt Ian Garry with a minute to go, right? Hurt him. Maybe it was more than a minute to go, a minute 30 to go. And you saw him get close to getting that finish. He couldn't get the finish probably because of his tiredness, and there's a little bit of ground and pound IQ issue there. He was like letting Ian Garry get in between his legs. Ian Garry was underneath him. He had to turn around. He ended up just like calling him up to the feet, and then he didn't do anything. You know, if you coach him and you were to run back that moment, you could probably coach him to finish Ian Garry at that moment. Props go to Ian Garry for staying alive. You know, that was what that was. Staying alive. Don't get knocked out. 30 seconds left. Find a way, right? That's what he was doing. Carlos Prates, in order to fight a perfect fight here, should stay in the center of the octagon. Carlos Prates cannot afford to get backed up to the fence. If his back is against the fence, he is going to be a sitting duck for Jack Della Maddalena. He needs to constantly keep Jack at kicking range. The more they kick, the better it is for Carlos Prates. I know you just saw him lay out Leon Edwards with a straight 2 down the pipe. And yes, that's absolutely a weapon for him, and it could be set up with kicking. Actually, because when you start kicking, remember Israel Adesanya versus Derek Brunson, he throws the high kick up there and he sees Derek Brunson's really selling out for the high kick. So he throws the high kick out there and then boom, bangs the 2 down the pipe. Boom, right? That makes sense. Carlos Prates needs to not get tired. So it's tough, it's tough to really pinpoint a strategy on how to do that, because sometimes when you're too patient, that's an issue too. If he kind of gets on offense a little bit, maybe he can get Jack Della to relax back a little bit. It's not really in Jack's style though, guys. Look at Jack's fights. He does come forward. He does like to apply pressure on people. Even, it's intelligent pressure. He sits his stances. He's got a lot of dynamics to his game, but he doesn't run around on the outside. Jack Della Maddalena brings the fight. A key way for Carlos Prates to win this fight is to expose the aggression of Jack Della Maddalena. Even against Islam Makhachev. Watch the first 30 seconds of that fight. Jack comes out there pressing him. Islam started backing up and throwing kicks. He comes out to go. Sometimes he's just straight up bum rushing people when he's throwing these combinations. He's on you. He keeps his head in a pretty good spot generally. Jack Della is so schooled with his boxing that he does a good job keeping his head in front of your shoulders. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you keep your head right here on the center line, it's actually a nice spot to hit you, right? But in peekaboo boxing, customado style, when you put your head in front of somebody's shoulder, it actually takes that arm away. If you're like close to my shoulder here, I can't really hit you with this hand very well. I can only have one hand I can hit you with, right? So it's an intelligent way to apply pressure on somebody. You put your head off that center line, okay? One aspect of why putting your head off the center line is advantageous. There are more. Loading punches, right? All types of things. Carlos Prates should look to hurt him as he's applying pressure. And that knee to the body, it looks like a money shot versus JDM. Okay. If you're out here laying down money on Carlos Prates knockout is the way to go, I think. Right. Jack Della Maddalena is super durable. Super durable. Has never shown any issues with the chin. I'm definitely not saying that. But what I am saying is that he should create moments, right? That's just what Carlos Prates is great at. He creates those moments where it's a nuke that's going off. It's a fucking 100% effort thrown knee. It's 100% effort thrown cross, right? He's even got spinning back kicks and head kicks, right? He's a pretty, he's got weapons. As a Muay Thai fighter, he brings a lot of weapons, and I say that because a lot of Muay Thai guys are considered relatively basic when it comes to, it's the art of 8 limbs, right? But they're pretty stationary. Like generally in Muay Thai, you're taught to kind of hold your ground, check, and then go. Khalil Roundtree is a good example. You go, now I go. Now you go, now I go, right? That's not Carlos Prates at all. He's like light on his feet. He's open stance, real open stance on the balls of his feet, moving around. And then he just tries to time you with shit, right? And he's got weapons from everywhere. You don't really know what he's about to throw. So it's not a certain style of Muay Thai that's a little bit predictable. Carlos Prates is, who knows what weapon he's about to bust out. Is it going to be the knee? Is it going to be the two? I got to look at both. I got to look at his whole body, right? So Carlos Prates trying to knock JDM out. Yeah. I mean, you get in a fight with Carlos Prates and you're not wrestling him the whole time. You're rolling the dice. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Carlos Prates is super dangerous, right? 1 5-round fight that I know of. And it was against Ian Garry, and his fatigue pretty much cost him the fight. Even though he hurt Ian Garry in that 5th, which is a fair point. I know anybody who, but he almost got Ian out of there in the 5th. He doesn't have cardio issues. Yes, he does. He's a fast twitch guy, even though his legs, look like they belong to a tarantula, He's a fast twitch dude. And he just, the cost that he pays for being so explosive is that he has to have a lot of energy management. He can't be out there just banging every shot like that, going hard, going toe to toe with JDM. JDM can, guys. JDM can, for Jack Della Maddalena to win this fight, I think absolutely what he needs to do is get Carlos Prates backing up. Get him backing up. And how does JDM do that? He comes in there like this, okay? His shit, he's even more leaned over. He's like this, okay? So he can't be letting Carlos Prates catch him with that knee to the body. I am concerned because Jack applying pressure. Yikes. But, man, it's hard to catch JDM clean. Like, he really does make stuff glance, rolls with stuff. His elbows are there. You're going to hit elbows. You're going to hit forearms and gloves, applying pressure, getting Carlos Prates to skirt that fence and get him into those reaches, right? And then when he's reaching out like that, go, bop, bop, bop. I'm knocking out my computer here. Sorry. Bop, bop, right? Letting his hands go. And Jack's sick with it, okay? I've got Jack Della Maddalena combos in my phone, and they go for punch after punch after punch. Let me see. JDM. Did I type his whole name out? Jack Della Maddalena. Boom. Jack Della combos. Those are Jack Della Maddalena combos from Orthodox, from Southpaw. Wow, Southpaw is way down here. Southpaw, right? These are all Jack Della Maddalena combos. Okay, so Jack Della Maddalena is definitely somebody who I've studied quite a bit. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Jack Della Maddalena. Getting the real estate that he wants will be massive. Combination punching. I don't think you have to tell Jack Della Maddalena combination punch, but that's a big deal here too. Carlos Prates is throwing 1 or 2 shots. Carlos Prates is throwing 1 or 2 shots. Jack should look for 5. You know what I mean? And then just using his experience to get Carlos Prates tired. I mean, anything he could get to make Carlos Prates miss shots. A pressure, pullback, right? Pressure, stance switch. Pressure, block. Stay here and block. Check that kick. Stay in here. Get him to throw, right? Get him emotional. It's going to be loud there in Australia. Carlos Prates is, I call him a young gunslinger, man. He's 32. That's true. He's 32 and Jack Della's 29. Doesn't look like it in the face, right? Jack's nose is over here. He's looked like he's a war dog, you know? Carlos Prates is 32. And beat him up over the rounds. Don't worry about a finish, you know. If the finish comes, it comes. But I think these guys are both tough. They're both durable. You know, what a fun matchup, Australia. I hope you guys enjoy that shit. I did want to compare their losses here. Okay. So Prates lost to Ian Garry due to range, length, mobility, and offensive grappling. None of which are Jack Della Maddalena's game. Okay. Jack Della Maddalena lost to Islam Makhachev due to a severe takedown threat because there's severe top control. Not in Carlos Prates' game. So, you know, they've really never lost to a striker in the UFC, you know? And we're about to see two elite strikers go toe-to-toe. I'm super excited about it. Carlos Prates is that bomb, right? And that wick is going, it's the right? It's the grenade that's been pulled. I mean, he is lethal. Lethal. No question about it. You fucking end up on the wrong end of one of those shots of Carlos Prates, you'll wake up looking at the lights, even if your chin is as good as JDM's. JDM has more layers to his game, right? He could fight out of both stances. He can fight off of more levels. You don't see Carlos Prates really level changing. He'll feint and stuff, but Carlos Prates isn't really about bending the knees and really investing in the body with his boxing. He's more so going to knee you in the stomach, kick your legs, head kicks, and then straight punches. You could pretty much dial it into, and that's a dynamic amount of weapons. It works for him. I'm not dunking on him at all. There are world champions with less weapons than that for sure. But I think Jack's, you know, ability to throw lead hooks from both hands, to go body head in such unpredictable ways, you know, it just seems like nobody else moves like Jack Della Maddalena. That's got to be an advantage he can apply as well. Jack tucking his chin, making sure to eat shots here, not here, right? Where's the most dense bone in your body? Don't point to your groin. It's right here, okay? And when somebody hit, you ever see Nick Diaz versus BJ Penn? He's fucking headbutting BJ Penn's jabs, okay? You could do that because this is super dense. So Jack exposing this only, like my coach, Pat Curran, used to fight, is him making sure that he's hiding this, right? He wants to make sure you don't get into his house here. Anything here, anything in the temples, very fragile and can put people out. So Jack just taking the shots right will be important as he presses Carlos Prates back as well. Guys, I'm super excited for this one. If you're going to be there live in Australia, I am jealous of you. This is one of the best fights of the year to see live. Come on. Come on. This is fantastic. Jack Della Maddalena and Carlos Prates are never involved in boring fights unless it's them getting grappled. You know, it's Jack Della underneath Islam, or, you know, it's everybody trying to take down Carlos Prates. Even the strikers, Ian Garry's well-rounded, but you know, Leon Edwards taking him down and taking his back, like, that really just shows you how dangerous on the feet he is and how much of just a pure striker he is. So let's say these guys go to war, man. I'm super excited to see it. I hope you guys are too. Let me know in the comments who you guys are taking in this one. I'm going to drop my full card predictions tomorrow after weigh-ins, after I see what these guys look like on the scales. And make sure you're tuning back into that one. Again, that's on the live tab. And of course, I'll give you guys my reaction after the event's over. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. And if you guys want to see my bets, I want a bet. I want another 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 bet. And I want another bet. That's the streak we're on right now. Okay? Back to back weeks of W's in premium channel. Direct message at Mike Finn Show on Instagram if you guys want to see my bets. All right? It's where I drop my biggest bets, my favorite bets. And I've got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 bets in there for this card. Still 3 units. Split a unit on 2. Although I might double up on one of those. I was just looking today, man. I might double up on one of those. So DM at Mike Finch Show if you guys want to see my bets over on Premium Channel. The link is in the description of the video. Also, check out MMA University, where I teach bag work. I'm a mixed martial arts fighter. I'm a mixed martial arts coach, and I can help you get your bag work basics done. That's MMA University, link in the description. Guys, I appreciate every single one of you. Until next time, it's peace and love.